Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sunday special. Here we go. Top damage diecast, top 10 this week. So we did 20 through 11 last week. Today we are going to do 10 through 1. These cards in front of me here are the honorable mentions. And these are not honorable mentions, meaning they are the only ones. There are tons that could be on this list. These are just three of my favorites. So there's, all three of the Haley Deegan cars are great. There's, a number of different cards. I'm trying to look just on my shelf here and see some of the other really good looking ones. Alex Bowman's got the rear end out of both of his. Those are both pretty cool. There's just too many to count. Kevin Harvick's 2011 is it Fontana? No, it's Martinsville win. There's plenty out there. Ryan Blaney Talladega win, just too many to name. But these are four of my personal favorites. Obviously, bias on these two, and then these two have their own biases as well. So I'm gonna go through those quick, and then we're gonna get into the top 10. So the ones you got in front of me here, this is the 2013 Casey Kane Bristol win. Very clean on the left side, rubbed up tire there. Then on the front, you can see just a little bit of rubber stuff, kind of dirtied up on that front end. This side's pretty darn cool, though. This is where you've got rubbed up marks there, all the way down the right side, a little bit down by the wheel well, and a little bit up at the front. So one of the more raced up Casey Kane cars. He generally didn't get into too much and kept his car pretty clean. So that's why this one is one of my favorites. The other one up here is obviously another one. It's his first win, obviously sentimental that way, but also just overall very dirty up front end. You got an orange valence down there. Then you got the banner up there. The left side's got some dirt on it, not bad. But then when you get over to the right side, you do have a donut mark there on the right side of the car, and then again just dirty. So I always like these Gen 4 Elites, and his win just has some solid detail. And this is one that in ARC you can get pretty cheap. You can get it for like $25-30. So by no means is that a bad car. Then of course Tony Stewart's final win in Elite. This one just beat up. It could have been better, in terms of just if they could get a little more damage to it. But the finish was great. I remember how excited I was to see him get that win. And then there's some mark on the right side as well. So just it was cool to have Stewart win in his final season, but also just it was really neat to have him win in that car, and the Elite version is pretty cool. So we'll go ahead and slide that off. And the last one is honestly not that crazy of a race detail, but it's such a pretty car. This red, white, and blue car is awesome. All around, a little bit of dirt on every angle, and then the big part is the burnout. You see that right rear is just caked with the rubber junk and then chewed up tire there. So that's why I put this one in the honorable mentions. Again, by no means are they the next, honorable mentions as far as like race detail only. But these are ones that I just figured are fun to get to show off. And so I figured I'd put them on that list, or put them out here so you guys could see them. All right. It's time to get to the top 10. Coming in. Hold on a minute. I got to move these cars so I got room. But coming in at the number 10 spot, a man who came in also at the number 11 spot in the same season. It's going to be the 2016 Kyle Larson Showdown Elite. So the Showdown Elite is only here for basically one reason, and that is the right side. And, usually you want it to have good race damage all over. Well, this one's clean, but the right side is where all the money's made. You've got donut marks and no right rear Goodyear letters on anything up here. It is just all dirtied and beat up. And I had the Chase Elliott custom done for the, partner to this one. And so this whole right side is just beat up and dirty. It could have theoretically shifted with the other one, but it's cool to have right side detail that's like this, the car detail, versus the wall detail. Because don't get me wrong, wall detail's good, but it is cool to have, the tire marks on there as well. So we do have the tire marks. Left side's clean, though, and everything else is pretty clean. So it's pretty much a right side only car, and that's why it comes in at number 10. Number 9 on our list, as I was just saying with right side damage, this one is the 2019 Coke 600 win for Martin Truex. So this one, we've got our right side with the wall scrape all the way down the side, all the way on the right rear corner, the right front corner. So good wall scrape detail, just like a lot of them that we saw in the last video. It being a red, white, and blue scheme obviously helps it out a lot. And when it comes to race detail, it's fun to have the special banner and the roof camera logos in the correct spot, so that helps it out a little bit. But also we do have, there we go, got some markings up here on the left front, and in the corner panel back here has got some markings, so not terribly bad detail in terms of like race damage, but that right side looks great. And then having all of the special things with the banner, the roof camera, those things all help with that race detail that I always really like. So overall, again, it's definitely perfectly worthy of being here. It's just basically you could probably debate 9 through 15. They're all about the same in terms of they've all got wall scrapes or tire marks or something. And it's just kind of a personal opinion after that. But that comes in at number 9. Number 8, I think, significantly or somewhat significantly puts itself above the rest that have happened so far, and that is Kevin Harvick's 2007 Daytona 500 win. So this one, you can see on the left side, you've got some marks right there up along the left side. The wheels are dirtied up along the fenders here on both sides, and then you get to the nose, and you've got the buildup all over the front of this car. It is just dirty everywhere you look, all across the front. And then the right side is also, just like those other ones, scraped up against the wall, and then, missing Goodyear lettering all around these tires. So, this car obviously also won the Daytona 500. That helps a little bit, but the scrape down the right side, the complete lack of anything as far as on the tires on the right side as well, and then that little bit of left side damage that kind of adds to it and puts it above the rest, because you end up with right side at really good level, left side's pretty decent, and then the front of the car is also dirty enough that it contributes. So I feel like that's a good reason to put this one number 8, significantly higher than those others. Again, 9 through 15 were pretty interchangeable. All right, on to number 7. We're going to get to the 2017 Dale Earnhardt Jr. Final Ride raced version. So this one we have, you can see on the left side, this is where, as he was getting congratulated after the race, just getting tire marks galore down the left side. They didn't end up beating it up too bad, but there's still the tire marks on there. So you can see all those marks on that left side. Mountain Dew back there, you see a tire mark there, tire mark at the middle. Down in the corner panel is pretty clean. That stayed pretty okay, but you can see on the right left front, that's all dirtied up as well. The front of the car has some rubber detail. Homestead always does a good job of blistering up some tires and spitting the rubber around on them. So see that right front's pretty dirty. Right side, he did get into the wall, so we've got it all the way back here on the corner panel, up here on the wheel well, and then down the door as well. So we've got a good sized wall scrape from all the way from the right front corner to the right rear, all down that right side. And then, of course, being we have the left side added, roof cameras are also in place in the right spot, and then this Axalta paint scheme looks really, really good. So that doesn't hurt by any stretch, but having left, right, and it's basically the same as the Harvick, left, right, and front, and then this one just has better left side than the Harvick. Coming in at the number 6 position, and some might think this is a little low, it's the Kyle Busch 2018 Chicagoland race win. Now this, to me, is more higher because it's I witnessed it, but we're going strictly on race detail here. So you see we got donut marks, the right front tires rubbed. You can see the kind of lettering rubbed off. The left rear is completely gone. Around the left rear corner, this is where I think he did a burnout and blew the tire out of it or something. Get around to the front. Pretty clean there, the front was, but the right side is where it gets all messed up. See the right rear corner's all scraped, the door is scraped, the right front corner. This, unfortunately, they couldn't do it justice, but the tire was actually flat and hanging out of the car. So the right front's chewed up, but it actually should have been kind of like puffed out and over the end of the car. And so that car, the damage on the right front alone, if they had done it correctly, could have made this pretty higher, but because they just kind of did the chewed up tire and then the tire mark around there, it still ended up okay. But obviously you still got the wall mark there as you go all the way to the rear. It's all dirtied up there. The splitter, you can see on the splitter there's all a bunch of dirt, and let's see, is that pretty much it? I think that is kind of our left side around this here, and basically our right side is what puts this up here. As I said, if they had done actual damage around that right front, it probably would be higher. But overall, plenty of dirt, plenty of of a wall scrape there on that car. Definitely more severe on the right side than the Junior, and that's why it comes in at number 6. Number 5 spot. we've got his brother, Kurt Busch, in the 2014 Martinsville race win. This one, he got caught with Keselowski, and the front corner of this car right here, where this is black, wasn't even there anymore. It got caught in Keselowski's right front fender and literally ripped it all the way back. And that's why you can see all this sheet metal. This black should actually be gone. It should be trimmed off all the way back over to here. So it ripped off all the bodywork from there to there. So that's where you see all the markings down on this left side, all beat up. The very front of the car, a little bit of stuff beat up. You can see it up on the right front corner. That's where he, I think, had to get into Keselowski to push him out of the way. Speaking of Keselowski, also we got the green banner, which is cool. Speaking of Keselowski, he also tried to wreck Kurt Busch later in the race. Kurt went to the bottom, and then when Kurt went to the bottom, he turned into him, and you can see all the marks he left on the car, all the way down the door, right front, all the way to the right rear, just, wheel marks everywhere. And so this car got to victory lane, and it looked awesome. And Kurt Busch, I don't have as many of his cars as I used to, and his 2010 All-Star race could have been on this list. His 2009 Atlanta win could have been on this list. His 2018 Bristol car was on this list. So Kurt Busch has a lot of cars on this list. And, he might not be done just yet. But that right side damage mixed with that left side damage, being heavy left side and heavy right side, is what puts his car at number 5. Coming into the number 4 spot, comes in at a non-winning car. This is the 2018 Bubba Wallace Daytona 500 raced version. So this is the car that Hamlin blew a tire and got up into him and put him in the wall. So you can see all the marks down the left side. That's all from after the checkered flag. You can see it on the left front of the car, and then as you go down the left side, it's just dirty everywhere. Goodyear rubbed off. The nose has stayed pretty clean, but then you have heavy right side damage, some of the heaviest ever. You can see all the way on that right rear corner, there's scrapes up there. The numbers are almost completely unrecognizable, all the way from the right front corner to the middle of the door. It's just rub marks everywhere. And we also have a flat, there you go, there's a flat spot. Flat right front tire. So this one gets a right front tire that's all damaged up, and that's a big deal because this car is mangled up and still managed to finish second. Granted, it all happened after the checkered flag or coming to it. But yes, this car really, really beat up, especially for Bubba Wallace's first Daytona 500. It was kind of a cool sentiment, and so that's why this car comes in at number 4. Coming in at the number 3 position, it's the only car from this season on the list, at least so far. It's Erik Jones' 2020 Crash race win. So this one's pretty clean down the left side. We got some tape on the rear. The tire's a little chewed up, so you get some detail there. But otherwise, it's pretty clean. Then you get to the hood, and it's a mangled mess. So you can see on the hood, bare bond and tape is holding this thing together all over. I mean, it's the only thing keeping the hood on. It's literally smashed up all over the front. It looks like it's all crumpled in because it was. Obviously, they didn't change the mold, so it's actually the same shape, but the goal was to make it look like it's been pushed in because his nose had been pushed in about 6 inches. And so it was actually very, very odd because this is pushed in, the hood was bubbled up, but it still won the race. So you can see all the bare bond and marks all over this car on the front. I mean, this was a crashed race win. If you were ever going to have to make a new mold, this was one to make a mold for. But unfortunately, Erik Jones is not overly popular. If it was Chase Elliott, they might have done it because they might be able to sell enough of them, but they didn't. And then you get to the right side, and it's even better, or not even better, but very similar there. Big time right side wall scrape, and you can see all the tire marks up along this right front here. And then some wall scrapes back here on the rear as well. Back bumper looks okay. A little bit of a bend from getting bumped and pushed to the line by Hamlin, but you can just see between the front end being absolutely ripped to shreds and the right side having a solid scrape on the wall. That's really what put this in there. As I said, it'd be nice if they could have done some mold changing, but they can't. But that front bumper was absolutely mangled. And that's what puts this car at number 3. Coming in at our number 2 spot, it is, how do I put this? Number 2 spot is going to be the most raced version and the coolest raced version of my lifetime that I witnessed. Not in person, but just witnessed. And this is the 2017 Daytona 500 winner of Kurt Busch. This car, what do you even say about it? All rubbed up down the right side. You can see the markings on the tires, just kind of dirtied up there. There's a chunk of sod on the hood, or a chunk of grass. When he went to do his burnout, a chunk of grass plopped up on the hood and just sat there. And so that's supposed to be grass. How many cars have grass on them? So you got grass on the hood. Then you see a bare bond piece on the fender, keeping the car together. So right there, you see that fender with that bare bond on there. And then the right side, just like the Bubba Wallace, really scraped up all down the right side. And you have more bare bond back here fixing the car on the right rear corner. So between the bare bond on the corner, the scrape on the right side, the bare bond on the right front corner also scraped up on the right front corner, the sod on the hood of the car, and you have rubbed up markings on the left side of the car. This car is the most raced version I've ever witnessed win a race in person. And I knew it from the minute it crossed the flag. I thought, wow, that's going to be a cool one. And sure enough, it was. It was absolutely cool. I wish the grass could have been a separate piece that you could maybe like stick in the hood or something and then it would stay. They'd have to 3D print it and do some junk like that. I don't know how they'd all figure that out. But I thought it'd be kind of cool because it is kind of a unique looking spot of the car. But yeah, the grass was on there. This is how it looked in the museum. It was just very, very raced up. As I said, he got involved in the accident and still won the race. So Kurt Busch could have been on this list 5-6 times if I had all his cars. So this was definitely a very, very cool one, though. And that's what brings it in at number 2. So the number 1 car, while we're here, and going through the Sunday special, the number 1 car is one that I never witnessed race in person. It's a car that I only recently did the review on. Most of you can probably guess it because you knew it should have been on this list, and it hasn't been on there so far. It is the 1997 Dale Earnhardt crash car. Now, the Dale Earnhardt crash car, there are no words. The hood doesn't open, the trunk doesn't open because it's scraped up on the hood. They did a mold, so it's all bent and beat up. The left side, we've got scrapes on the left side. We've got scrapes on the roof. We got scrapes on the right side. We've got a crumpled up rear end. We've got the deck lid half fallen off. We've got marks on the bumper. I mean, what do you say? This car is obvious the number 1. It's got its own mold, and then it's got roof flaps literally curled up into the air. The scrapes on the left side, the bent up hood. Oh, by the way, the right front corner's missing. All this put together, you just can't not put this at number 1. This car is so raced up. It is so it's a must-have for anybody who likes the race damage diecast and the beat up version of race cars. This is a must-have. It's an iconic story. It's an iconic car, and it's just this diecast is a not a holy grail because there are a lot of them out there, but it's just a must-have. Even though I didn't know much about Earnhardt, this is just such a cool car to have. The bumper cutaway. We've got, again, the bent rear end. We've got windows missing out of the left side, I believe. Roof flaps curled up. The deck lid's hanging off. Like, all that detail put together, this is a must-have car in any diecast collection, especially anyone who likes these race versions like I do. And so, yeah, it's the clear choice. It's obviously the number 1. It's so hard not to pick this one. For good reason. It is the best. So, we're going to back this phone here up. I said phone. It's supposed to say tripod, but it's not. It's a phone on a tripod. So we're going to slide them in order and get you a good group shot of them. I won't put it in the thumbnail. I don't want to spoil anything, so we'll put that. We'll put the honorable mentions in the thumbnail. There we go. All right. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is our top 10 race damage diecast in my collection. Now, again, there are probably some that could easily have been on this list that aren't in my collection, but these are the ones in my collection that I have that are on this list. Off the top of my head, the Keselowski 09 could have been in there. Again, Kurt Busch 2010 and Charlotte 2009 Atlanta. Those two both could have been in here. Good grief. I mean, there's so many of them. The David Rudiman 2010 car could have been in here. I can't even think of how many other ones could have been in here. So there's definitely plenty that could have been on this list. These are just the ones I have, but let me know your thoughts on my top 10 list. Also put your list of top 10s in your collection, ones that you have or ones that you would wish to have that maybe I didn't cover in this one. So put those in the comments below. If you have enjoyed, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss an upload. Put ideas for the next Sunday special down below. We are going to have the Dale Earnhardt 12 Days of Christmas special coming on Christmas Day. And then next Sundays has already been decided. It's going to be going through Chase Elliott's Mountain Dew schemes or just all the Mountain Dew schemes I have, as Mountain Dew has announced they are leaving the sport, or PepsiCo. So that'll be next week. We're going to go through all the Mountain Dew paint schemes, but after that, put in the comments below what you think should be the next topic of the Sunday special. Other than that, this has been Race Craze. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next Diecast review.